Biggie says he got irrationally angry about the story yesterday. Britney Spears smoking on an airplane, a private plane, not her own. She had rented it, and they called authorities when she landed. And when Biggie went online to see it, all the comments below were like, "Come on, leave her alone.
Leave Britney alone."
Biggie's like, no, she broke the rules. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I'm like this with her, but she should have never been let go from the conservatorship. I'm mad at that judge who bowed down to some loony protesters outside, and they are loony.
Leave Britney alone.
That's one of them. That's right.
And they're out, and they bowed down to that, and now she's just out. I mean, her Instagram is a wreck. If it was a normal person doing these things, people would be calling authorities and having welfare checks done. I mean, she's either dancing naked, half naked, with knives. Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
Smoking on a plane.
Yeah, she rambles on like a loon, and everyone's like,
leave her alone.
Let her live.
Let her live her life.
And I have no...
Leave Britney alone.
I have no dog in this fight, but for whatever reason, I was so irrationally mad yesterday.
You were into that. You were angry here on our air.
Yes.
I remember thinking you're emotional about this. You did not want Britney Spears to be
Well, then she's like talking about, she's like, the flight attendant was mean to me. Yeah, because look what you're doing, you nut. You know what? I feel like we're moving back in time most days now anyways. I feel like we should go back to just calling nuts, and crazy, loons.
She's a nut. She's crazy. She's
now everyone's like, oh, she might have some undiagnosed. Nope, she's a nut.
Put her in the loony bin.
Yep. Bring back loony bin.
The word loony bin. Let's put her in there. That's enough. She's smoking on a plane. Now, it was a private plane that she had rented. It wasn't a public,
And remember, she thought she could smoke because the cup holders were on the outside.
Yeah, she said
on the outside near the aisle.
She said that. But she also said calling the authorities to meet me at the gate a little
extra?
Little much. She said the flight attendant had it in for her from the moment she walked onto the plane.
Well, I said, too, if you're a flight attendant and you walk on and you see Britney Spears, like I said, spill out of the limo and head toward your jet, you're going... Oh, God.
Please be a short flight.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, we're going to have this on. Yeah, the flight was Mexico up to California. It wasn't that long, I guess. I'm not sure what part of Mexico.
Probably Cabo.
Probably that she was doing that. I'm watching this Tom Hanks America's series on Peacock. Highly recommend. Saw the Mexico portion last night. Fantastic.
What'd you learn?
A lot, man. There's a lot going on down there. I didn't even realize Mexico has lush jungle and desert, and then we saw the Amazon the night before, and that's just that rainforest. Gracious alive! I'll tell you one thing. Let's stop clear cutting the rainforest. All right, enough of that already.
Leave the rainforest alone.
We've raped the rainforest enough, and we don't need to do that anymore. And water is so vitally important around the globe. We need to make sure rainwater is like always the answer.
You're about 30 years late to this cause.
Well, they should have done this documentary before because it is phenomenal.
I once ate at a Rainforest cafe.
I did do that. I have done that. I've done my part. I've eaten at a Rainforest cafe. Okay.
Careful. You're going to turn woke.
No, well, we got to stop. You should see what the rainforest looks like now. It's an incredible place, but now we're clear cutting it, or we have for some time, and it's a real issue. We've got to stop doing that. Dick Van Dyke is 99. He'll be 100 in October. They're already planning the big surprise party.
The surprise party?
Now,
really?
Problem with these is they also planned the party for Betty White, and she came up 20 days short. Okay, she did not make it all the way to 100. She died at 99.
And if I recall, we still awkwardly had it for her.
We did.
We did.
And that was weird. And so CBS, who is going to do the 100th birthday party for Dick Van Dyke, has checked in to say, make sure you keep in tip-top condition now between now and October. We got, 5 months to go. 4 months to go.
Do you think, like they have the people, the exec producer, or whoever the producers are of that show, have a morning meeting every day?
How's he doing?
Is he alive?
I would bet they put one of those, whether he realizes it or not, some kind of tracker or something on him.
Is it moving?
Yeah. Check his
moving.
vitals.
All right, we're good.
Yeah, we got a heartbeat.
Keep it going. Because they're going to be running promos here starting in early October.
Yeah,
Like, all right, we got to make sure this happens. He is married to Arlene Silver. She's 46 years his junior. And he says she keeps him tip-top shape all the time. They're always exercising, doing something. The drawback to living to be
Smart on her part, make it look like an accident.
right.
Oh, he just loved exercising when he fell.
He just loved rock climbing.
Yeah, I couldn't keep him off the
Let
trails.
me tell you. He says the one drawback to living to be 99 or possibly to 100 years
Which
old,
is your goal,
which is my
Joe.
goal to live. I mean, I would love to be like Dick Van Dyke at age 99. He seems to be with it. He was recently interviewed. He dances sometimes, stuff like that. He does light exercise. He says the big drawback to living to be 99 is all his peers and all his friends are long dead. So it's basically him and his wife. He wanted to do a reboot of The Odd Couple starring himself and Ed Asner, and Ed was interested and then died.
Mhm.
I know. So when, he's like, man, I got nobody left. I got nobody to talk to except my wife. That's it.
My grandma lived to be 96,
Mhm.
and she would say that.
Mhm.
She would say, well, the letters from home stopped coming,
Yeah.
so that means so-and-so probably died.
But he's got grandkids. I would assume he's got
That.
kids or grandkids,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
Great grandkids.
That's who you have to talk to. Your
Yeah.
kids, your grandkids. I mean, that's
But I think
your family.
your friends, though, I mean,
They're
you
all
do
gone.
miss your friends, and that's what she would say. She'd be like, oh,
and then,
well, so-and-so's gone. I'm not going to hear from them. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, they died. You're
It's like
outliving everyone.
the old Seinfeld episode when the phone would ring in Florida. Who died?
that's the first thing.
That's how you answer the phone.
It's like the Green Mile. You see the Green Mile? You know the Green Mile?
Yeah, it's been a while.
That guy lived to be like 130. That's spoiler. He was in the old folks' home, and he told a woman he was fraternizing with in the old folks' home, "Listen, I'm 130, and I'm going to outlive you too. I've outlived everybody here." And sure enough, the last scene's like at her funeral, and it's really sad. He's like, he said it's a prison. My friends keep dropping around me.
I didn't see it. Speaking about television and dead celebs, but apparently there was sort of I don't know if you'd call it a roast, but there was like a comic salute to Joan Rivers.
Oh, was it
Who's
recently?
also
Yeah.
been dead for some time.
And should not have died because she was on the table getting plastic surgery. That was a wrongful death. Her daughter sued the surgeon over that. They recently did a celebrity.
I think within the last 2 weeks. I want to say Nikki Glazer was part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I follow her on social media, and I think she was there. But
Well,
I didn't see it.
She's such a trailblazer for female comedians, of course. Speaking of comedians, what do Jim Gaffigan and Biggie have in common? You ready? He's on Mounjaro.
Yeah, same.
Mounjaro.
Okay,
That's your medication. He says, I'm incredibly brave. I stick a needle in my stomach every day. Or every week.
That's so
I was gonna say,
Every
my
week.
God.
Every week. He's lost 50 pounds. And he says, I don't think I'll ever actually be skinny, but I've lost 50 pounds, and the bravery is unmatched.
Do we know if Mr. Gaffigan got this prescription or on the free market with his untold wealth?
Oh, he could buy it.
He could probably buy. He didn't say, but I bet he's just paying out of pocket for it. And he says there's a little stigma to using the weight loss drugs, but it's worth it for him to.
I think you got to get past that.
Oh, I do too. I think that's
At first,
quieting.
yeah. Well, I think a lot of it came at first because it felt like you were stealing from diabetics.
right.
Because remember, there was shortages at first.
Yes.
And people
Ozempic was like the one. Yeah.
And people were true diabetics could not get their medicine because other people who could afford it were straight up buying it to get skinny. Now it's all gone. There's so many out there that stigma's gone.
Right. And by next year, they're saying pill form of some of these things that'll be affordable for most. It won't be $1,500 a month.
I would switch to a pill.
Oh yeah.
I still feel weird injecting.
Yeah.
Like, you have this fear that you
Mm-hmm.
did it wrong.
Mm-hmm. He says he's got more energy and less joint pain, and he's got a new Hulu special called The Skinny, where he's talking all about his weight loss. What do Sarah Jessica Parker and Chris Kelly not have in common? As the Sex and the City reboot relaunches tomorrow.
That's
I know Big Al
right.
be in front of our
The new
television.
season of the reboot.
New season of the reboot called And Just Like That. Sarah Jessica Parker never, ever watches Sex and the City or the reboot.
How does that make you feel? You're one of the gals.
I'm devastated. And
You go off to sleep to them, their
All-
dulcet tones and Cosmo glasses clinking every
all
night.
the time.
I don't believe her.
I don't believe her either.
I think that's such a cliche, must-say thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've never seen an episode. Oh, I've not. I bet she watches immediately.
As soon as it comes out.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
she is exec producer. She has to watch it some point, right?
yeah.
You'd think. But in an interview with E! News, she says, I never, ever watched the show. She says, I'm too busy being a mom.
Aren't her kids like mostly grown?
Yes. They're in high school and college. But she says, I'm so busy being a mom, and my schedule is so frantic, I don't have time to watch television.
You really are one of, what's her character?
Carrie.
You're a Carrie.
I'm a Carrie.
Yeah.
Carrie.
Except you make time for her shows.
I do make time for her shows. I'm so busy being a dad, and my pickleball schedule's got me running everywhere. Whatever. I can't do that. There's no
I will
way.
say this. People sometimes ask me if I ever listen to this show on the weekends or replays of this show. And I always say the same thing. Why?
Yeah.
It's on.
I've lived it.
I lived it.
It's on the weekend. What are you talking about?
Why do I want to hear it again?
It's on YouTube?
I told you what I did. Well, I used to do this when I was a young top 40 DJ. I'd record myself, put the cassette into the cassette player, drive-throughs, and when
Windows down, sound blasting.
and just be like, man, listen to that guy.
Oh, man, the narcissism started young.
Man, look at that
This
guy.
guy's partying, man. He's like,
This guy's on top 40
you hear
radio.
that guy introduce that Milli Vanilli record?
And he's sounding good. I did a lot of that.
You're holding up the line.
You say narcissism. I don't know what that means. I've told you that many times. I would just say thank you. Yes, it did. It was very young in me.